You just can't get a non-skilled job in Vietnam. Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome back to Vietnam Teaching Jobs YouTube site, and welcome back to me. I'm Ray, Mr. Ray for those students who are watching from all around Vietnam. Now, today I want to talk to you about a pretty interesting little part of living in Vietnam that people really don't talk about. Living in Vietnam can be a real challenge when it comes to jobs and getting jobs and second jobs and third jobs. Now, we know that we are teachers, and one of the primary reason that many of us come to Vietnam to live for a short time or a long time is in order to teach at the various institutions around the country. But my question is, what happens if you want to make a few extra dollars? You know, you want to have a second job, or maybe you've got a partner that comes to the country and they want to earn some part-time income whilst they're living here, whilst you're teaching. Well, I've got some bad news for you. Bad news is it's really, really difficult to get any part-time jobs. Now, let me go through the reasons why at the very base, and then we'll look at some of the options you do have as far as extra salary options are in Vietnam. So as we know that when you come to Vietnam and you get a contract with a teaching organisation, a school or the like, you are required to get a work permit. Now, a work permit is a certificate from the government that gives you permission as a foreigner to work in a particular job and for a particular company. Now, the problem with that is that if you wanted to go and get a job, let's say as a security guard or a truck driver, it's impossible. There's a few different reasons. But at the very top end, you just can't get a non-skilled job in Vietnam. If you do happen to get one, it's, you know, maybe working as a bar manager or something of the like. And you're just lucky that it's a Western bar. Vietnam has a system by which foreigners don't have the ability to do those types of jobs that maybe you would be familiar with if you were a backpacker. Let's say an Australian goes to England and they were able to work in construction, they were able to work in bars, maybe in a retail environment, some non-skilled labour, in order to earn some money to, you know, fund their backpacking adventures. Impossible for that to happen here in Vietnam, okay? You cannot get a job in those areas that you would be used to getting in places like England and Australia and America and the like. So with that said, you need to have a different outlook on how you're going to earn money. Let's look at some ways. And I'm going to talk about my experience, and I'm sure that from my experience, there will be a number of different options that some of you will have. So as you may know, if you've seen my previous videos, I have lived in Vietnam for about 12 years. And in that time, I have worked primarily as a teacher, but I've also had some freelancing jobs. Now, freelancing is very good because there are really two kinds of freelancing. Freelancing, number one, is freelancing that you can actually do in your home country. And because you are a freelancer, your location doesn't matter. So for me, I have a bank account in Australia because I'm Australian. I have all the legal documents to be an Australian because I am an Australian. And so therefore, I am able to obtain work as a freelancer or a contractor, as we call them in Australia, if the opportunities arise. And essentially, I can either work as a person in Vietnam working for an Australian company, or as a person technically in Australia working for that company. And, even to the point where, and it has happened on occasion, that I am able to have my salary paid into my Australian bank account, pay Australian tax, and totally operate within Australia. You know, my money stays in Australia and I can use it when I travel and things like that. So that is an option for everyone, to actually work as a freelancer, but in your own country whilst you're living in Vietnam. Of course, the other one is to actually work as a freelancer in Vietnam. Now, I've got a few different streams of skills and abilities that I have used my freelancing skills with. My particular freelancing has been voiceover. 2015, 2 years after I arrived in Vietnam, I had the opportunity to do a voiceover for Vietnam Timeless Charm. And that led me from that one video to a constant progression over the last 10 years of being able to do voiceovers for videos. Now, in saying that, number one, it's very, very low pay. You know, maybe I'll get $20 or $30 a video, unless it's a big video, of course, but it's not much money at all. Number two, it's not regular. So up until about 2023, I suppose, I would probably get, 2 to 4 videos a month. Then as AI rolled in, and AI voice took over, a lot of those videos just dropped off the end because, even though I was only getting like $30 or $50 for a video, AI was basically doing it for nothing. And so those videos that didn't need that particular skill of a particular voice were being taken up by AI, but they are still around. I did one, in fact, it's now the end of 2025, and this year I think I've done 3 or 4 videos all year. So, that was from 3 or 4 a month. I've done 3 or 4 all year. So it's a bit of a change, but it's still there. Another one is writing, whether it be SEO, search engine optimization writing, which is probably backing off in its popularity now because of the inception of AI. Writing marketing material, writing for companies. Companies in Vietnam, they may be a Korean company or a Vietnamese or a Chinese company, and they need certain material produced to be accurate, and they will contract a native English speaker to do that, and they'll pay them a set fee for that service. Again, not regular in its content, but it does come along. I think the last one I did, I actually did some copywriting, which is, I suppose, the same as writing, but a little bit different. I actually did it for a division of the United Nations. Yeah, they have an office in Hanoi, and through my contacts, I was able to get a 100-page report, and I actually went through and checked that report and updated the English in that report to be very specific to the needs of that particular organisation. And I made a few $100 from that, which is good. So voiceover, writing. Another area that I personally make money from is, again, it's writing, but it's a little bit different. I actually write for newspapers. And so you can get yourself into that, not social media, but into that media sphere. And there are a number of avenues where you can actually make money writing for newspapers, not just in Vietnam, but all the way through Southeast Asia and globally even. I have actually done stories for newspapers in Australia. And if you like to Google my name, Ray Quishett, you'll probably see some of those stories on Google if you search them. The last area of extra income that I will talk about is social media. So I have a YouTube channel. We're on YouTube here with this video on Vietnam Teaching Jobs, and I have a YouTube channel by the name of An Aussie in Vietnam. And on that YouTube channel, I talk about stuff that's happening in Vietnam, about my experiences of living in Vietnam. And again, whilst I haven't made a lot of money from it, and I've kind of like been on it and off it over the years. There are some years I do a lot of videos, and then other years I focus on different hobbies, I suppose. And if you're serious about making social media content, it's a pretty good option. What is not a good option, I believe, are things like TikTok and Facebook, unless you have an alternate income stream, as in you're selling something or you have some other service to offer. TikTok and Facebook and the like, Instagram and those other ones here in Vietnam are not a very good option for actually making money. But certainly YouTube has done well for me in my very limited capacity. As I travel around the country, I take videos, short videos mostly, and I'm able to make a little bit of money from that. One other area which I'll include in the extra income, I suppose. Some people actually use it as their main source of income, but I use it as extra income, is the idea of extra classes. So many of us teachers, we work during the day, and my normal day starts about 7 o'clock, finishes about 4 o'clock, working in a school. And many teachers choose either overnight time after school or on the weekends to take up extra classes. And that is usually done by, they find a room, which is probably not unlike the room I'm in tonight, or they'll go to a cafe or something like that. And they will get either adults or teens or children, anywhere between 6 or say 5 and 12 kids, depending on the facility that you're using. And they will do an extra class with them, an English speaking class, an English confidence class, an English communications class, an IELTS class, an exam preparation class, any type of English specific skill that will benefit those people. And I'll be honest with you, it can make really good money. I do know people that have that don't work during the day, and it's their only source of income, and they survive, because they have 4, 5, 6 classes throughout the week. They're pushing, 6 to 10 people a class, and whatever they're charging for that class on a per class basis, it's working for them. To make it easier for you, it's good to have a Vietnamese person supporting you. So I'm very fortunate. I'm married, so I have a Vietnamese partner, and she does all the financial side of it. And she collects the money. She tells the people how much. She signs them up, and it's a very good income stream. I was probably making back about 10 years ago, or 5 to 10 years ago, before COVID, I was probably making about 25% of my monthly salary through extra classes. It really was a good spinner. And I was really only working, if I remember correctly, I was working 2 classes on Saturday and 1 class on Thursday night. So I was probably only doing the best part of about 4 or 5 hours a week, so maximum 6 hours a week, including preparation. And that's a really good spinner. So when you come to Vietnam, you need to understand that the opportunities to make money are very different to what they are normally in your home country. There's a lot of regulation, a lot of cultural difference, but there is a lot of opportunity if you have the skill. I haven't even talked about those people that have things like IT backgrounds, coding, and similar things. Massive, massive opportunities for freelancing in those spaces. Again, people who have specific teaching skills, not only private classes, but you've got company work, which is short-term contract. There is really a lot of opportunity if you're willing to go out there and get it. So thank you to Vietnam Teaching Jobs. This is such valuable information for you, and it's with the support of Vietnam Teaching Jobs that I'm able to share this information with you. If you're looking for a job, make sure you get onto Vietnam Teaching Jobs website, which will be in the comments, and have a look at what's going. There's a high demand for teachers right across Vietnam, mostly in the capital cities, but also in regional areas. And maybe if you're a teacher with a little bit less experience, maybe a job in a regional centre might be a great start for you. The pay is usually lower, but it gives you great experience, and it's a wonderful, wonderful adventure to get out into a smaller city like Tay Ninh or Dalat or something like that, and learn the craft of teaching, learn about Vietnamese culture, and just have fun for a year or so, or 9 months or 6 months, doing something different. I love it, and I am very happy being able to work between Ho Chi Minh City and also the outer regions of this district and this province. That's pretty cool. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you on our next video for Vietnam Teaching Jobs. I'm Ray. See you next time. Bye-bye.